All right, so we're here with the Trinity Survivor New Beginnings cast assessment, and we have the entirety of production as well as special guest Jabbar. And we also have myself. We have Nick Manilor, and we have this other guy, Zach. All right, so let's just jump right in. We have a large cast and a lot of people to get through today. So first up on the list is Brian, Just Don't Evict Me, and Jabbar, you will begin.
Brian's a rat, straightforward. Brian is the definition of a rat. He's pathological. He's every negative thing that I can think of. With that being said, he's actually not that bad of a player. And I think that if this cast is dumb enough to let him get far and get to the end, he will get far and get to the end. But he's really good at being a rat, and a lot of people won't notice what he's doing until it's too late and they're out the door. However, I don't see him winning because nowadays a lot of these new school players don't really respect that. But besides that, he's a hell of a player. Not my cup of tea, but I still respect it for what it is.
Okay, so I have only played with Brian a couple times, and he was an early boot both times. I haven't really had as much experience with him in orgs as I have, but in group games, he was fairly good at being social. He just wasn't able to really make the connections he needed, although based off of what Jabbar said, he's gotten a little bit better at that. I don't really know how well he's going to do this season, to be completely honest, although he's likable enough. So I can see him making connections. I can see him going far, but I can also see him going early. I don't know. I don't know where to put Brian right now, honestly. Nick, go ahead.
So I remember when Brian was just the hot, most expressive Weber. That's what he went by. And so I haven't seen his new stick. His old stick was just kind of being this crazy person and being carried to the end. And I feel like that's probably what we're going to get here. And I don't think he's going to connect with these people. There's either a lot of really young people and really old people, and he's not going to connect well with people. And I think he's either going to be dragged or they're just going to get rid of him first because he's kind of useless. So that's my opinion. I don't think he's going to be around for a long time.
Zach?
I have yet to play with Brian, but what I do know of him as a person, he actually does seem like a really personable, likable, at least to me. That's the perception that I got of him. And so I think if he's able to pull that card and use that to his advantage, I feel like he could take that a little bit distance. I do have a feeling that he's gonna be like a sugar, just completely dragged to the end. Yeah, that's it.
All right, so with each new person that we talk about, we rotate positions up one, so I will start the next person, and we are moving on to Jarrett. So from what I've seen of Jarrett, he can be a bit of a firecracker. My biggest thing I know about him is that he was on jury for 1984, Michael and Blake's Big Org, and he ended up quitting jury due to reasons that I've heard a million different stories. I'm not entirely sure what the case is. So I know he can be a bit of a, he can make a few rash decisions. As for this cast, I know that at least one person in this cast does not like him, being Connor, although they're not on the same tribe, so he doesn't need to worry about that right now. He seems to make enemies pretty easily from what I've seen, what I've heard. I don't see him going too far, although he could surprise me because I know he's not terrible at the game. Nick?
Okay. I feel like I don't really know him, but just have his production side of stuff to go off of. I think he's kind of a douche canoe. But I think he is likable enough and will probably be decent at challenges, so he probably won't need to worry for the first couple of rounds. I But like after that, though, people will get tired of him and will vote him out. I don't think he'll go very far because he seems like he can be a little douchey.
Going off of that. Oh, there was an echo. Going off of that, yeah. I gotta say, Jarrett is probably my least favorite of the cast. I didn't like his brash personality. It's not someone that I think I would get along with very well in the real world or in games or whatnot. He seems like the character and player that would pop off on people at tribal council but still stay in the game some fucking how because people need a bigger target than themselves. And so I predict like merge for him.
Okay, Jabbar?
Yeah, I'm really just gonna piggyback off of what Julian said. He's the only experience I have with him is from 1984 with him leaving the jury. So he definitely seems like a hothead, but if he plays his cards right, he can definitely be the entertainment value of the season, especially with me not being there. So yeah, he definitely seems like he's gonna be trouble if he doesn't get his way. But I mean, I'm here for it.
Okay. So we're going to move on to the next person. Keaton, this is my game, and Nick starts.
Oh boy, my little buddy Keaton. For the psychopath's benefit, he's not terrible strategically, and he's not bad at challenges. He's just not very likable to anyone who's not also a psychopath. So, like, I can understand why some people like him, but I don't, and I don't think this cast has enough crazies to go far with. But he'll entertain us, I guess.
Oh. I have no idea who Keaton is. I've heard of his name, but I've never had a conversation with him. He is actually one of the only people that I wasn't a part of the interview for. And so I genuinely have no idea. So my opinions of Keaton are just based off of what Nick has said.
You should watch his interview sometime. I bring up the tribal in which he gets rocked out of Archetype Royale gets brought up at one point, and he like starts screaming to the point where his family comes in to check on him.
Why did we
though?
Okay, yeah, I'm done. I don't have an opinion because I don't know.
Go ahead, Shabar.
Keaton is literally a two-headed dragon. And like every time that he plays a new orc, he decides which head he's gonna show for this particular orc. On one side, he's really strategic, really analytical, hands down a great game player. And then the other irrational version of himself, where he just goes in, makes a big spectacle of everything, calls everyone out, and just acts like a total fucker. And I mean, both of them theoretically could work depending on the cast and the particular tribe that he's on. He just has to be able to adapt and go from there and decide which head he actually wants to show. I definitely think that Keaton could do really well this season, but I think it depends on which head he decides to show with this particular cast.
So I'm going to go based on his intro video in which he literally said, and I quote, "I'm not here to win. I'm here to be entertaining. I'm here to have fun." Being a game bot is boring. If you have not seen Keaton's intro video yet, please do yourself a favor and watch it. That dude is a mess. I've hosted Keaton, 4 times before, and he's done like middle of the road every single time except for when he got rocked out due to convoluted bullshit, which for hours about. I mean, basically, as Jabbar said, he has multiple different personalities in terms of the game. And I don't really know yet which one he's going to bring out, although it seems based on his intro stuff, he's not really playing for the win. Just based on that, I don't think he's going to win. But I think, like, I can see him at least making merge unless he pisses the wrong people off. Because, again, Keaton's a volatile person. He will go off on you like that. He's not one of the people like Halloween or someone like that who takes it too far, but he can piss people off really quickly with little to no effort. Like, Nick, I know, was not a fan of him in Trinity 3. Basically that. All right, who's next? So we're moving on to Maddie, and Zach, you get to start.
Ooh.
Really, this is fun. Try not to make it too personal.
No, I know. She's a good person and everything. Good, like, game-wise. I've been in one game with her, but I didn't necessarily see where, like, she, like, what strengths she had and whatnot. Both the games that I've seen her play, she relied hugely on another person to get her far. That being Grace, which is part of the reason why she wasn't cast. Sorry, Grace. Love you. But I don't see her being able to hold her own for very long if she doesn't find that one person that she can rely on, if that makes sense. Yeah, done.
All right, Jabbar?
The first few days in the game are probably going to be some of Maddie's best. She's really social. She's really likable right off the bat. Maddie's problem is that sometimes she talks way too much, and she says things that she probably shouldn't say to practically everybody. And if she hasn't learned from her past mistakes, she's going to be sent home really early. But she's really social. She's really likable. But if she can control her mouth, she'll be there for a very long time because she's so easy to like. But she's so quick to tell business that she shouldn't be telling.
All right, so all personal feelings aside, I basically have to agree with Jabbar. She's not going to be a middle-of-the-road player. She's going to go far, or she's going to go within the first couple rounds. There's no in-between. She will either shoot herself in the foot the first opportunity she's given, or she will run to the end with her social game. I don't know which is going to happen yet, but like they've said, the first few days are going to basically decide her entire game. Nick, go ahead.
So I know nothing about Maddie at all, other than, again, production stuff. I think she seems really likable and really sweet and really easy to get along with. I feel like as long as she can make the right connections on her tribe, she should be fine until at least a swap, and then all matter of how she plays it.
Okay, so next we're moving on to someone most of you probably don't know. We're going to Maynard. Jabbar, go ahead.
I absolutely know nothing about Maynard, but just from his like intro video, he's really adorable, and he's gonna be super likable. My only concern, because I don't know him, is like I don't know how competitive he is, and that's blocking my assessment of him because I'm not truly able to gauge how he is in games. But if I just have to go off of his intro video, he'll be around because if people are thinking like me, they're gonna keep him because they don't think that he's competitive towards the end. And he may be somebody who's gonna be seen as loyal and as a number. And if he plays this angle really well, then he'll be there until the end.
All right, so I've played with Maynard, and let me just tell you, he is one to watch. He gives off this like super adorable vibe, like in his video, in his intro shot, but he is a fierce competitor, and he is someone you need to watch for but I don't think anyone's going to notice that under the persona that he gives off. He's a very likable person who also is not afraid to make moves, who is not afraid to play the game. So if these people don't catch on quickly, I can see him making a run. Nick?
Okay, so obviously I have no clue who this fuck this bitch is. This is my just gut reaction, and you might disagree with this, Julian. I feel like Maynard is a nicer version of Hudson, where everyone thinks it's just good, so they can easily pull in and manipulate, and they're really behind the scenes, being like, bye, and that's just the impression I get off him. And I don't know if it's accurate, but I think it's pretty close. And I don't think he's really a sweet, innocent little kid. I think he's a little schemer.
I can see it.
So what's fun about Maynard and these other Tumblr orgers that were cast, these Tumblr orgers are so, I guess, perceptively good at the game from what I've seen. And Maynard is no exception to that. In all honesty, he's, if not at the top of my list, near the top of my list of who I think can win this season. Because of, like Jabbar said, he is so likable. But what people don't know is that he has a doctorate in something. I forgot. But
Wait, he has a doctorate?
yeah.
He was like 16. What the fuck? He's like a little baby.
No, he's like 25 or something.
Yeah.
He has a doctorate in something, I forgot what. He has shown that he is so fucking smart, and he will use that to his advantage when, like, just messing with people and getting on their good side. And I do think that he is one to watch out for. I'm looking forward to watching him play, to be honest.
I'm looking at Maynard's age real quick.
On his
I want to say, I'm looking at Maynard's age real quick.
I think my...
So I'm like 25, yep.
Yeah, I was right. Okay, cool.
Yep. All right, so now we're moving on to Nolan, Mystery Game 2. So Nolan is probably the person I feel the worst for the original Trinity 3, because he was probably the best positioned person there. In Trinity 3, Nolan was sitting there with an idol, and he had won a challenge. He'd proven himself to be a pretty good competitor. But now in this cast, I don't know. He's not like the first name that comes to mind when you think big players, big strategists, more of a under the radar type player, I guess you could say. He's also very hit or miss with performances. Like, again, in Trinity 3, I keep going back to that, but he was doing well there, but I don't know if one performance is going to hold up to other performances. Because he can be kind of a snake at times. He can, like, he's not afraid to make these moves. He's a little shady. I know some people don't trust him as much. It's going to depend on where he can position himself. Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't think that Nolan is necessarily a bad player. I think that Nolan's biggest issue, I've seen many times playing with Nolan, is that he's very difficult to have a conversation with that isn't game. Like, if it's not 100% game, it's like chewing glass, because he doesn't have a strong personality of any sort. And I feel like a lot of these people are more personalities than players, and he's going to have a hard time connecting with them. Unlike, say, in Trinity 3, where it was a shit ton of game bots, where you could easily get into their heads. And being a strong player isn't going to be a benefit anymore, because he can't protect them. So he's good at challenges, and I feel like he's going to go early to mid-merge, because why can't he win the game at that point? I just don't see him going far.
Zach?
I have no idea who Nolan is either. He's one of the only other people that I have not watched the interview for. But In all honesty, I see him being like one of the first boots. I don't see him being as extremely likable by the majority of the people to where he can get by that way. I don't see him being an extremely like strategic player to where he can wiggle out of like certain situations that he might be in. Um, I guess the only way that I can see how he can get decently far is by using somewhat of a social game, which mainly is just like weighed upon by effort, which is why it's the only thing that I'm good at. But I don't see him being much of a threat to most of the people in this game.
All right, Jabbar.
Yeah, Nolan has never really been like a big name as far as games that I've played in with him initially, but he's always been fairly competitive to me personally. And he is the type of person that I would target first because he's really quiet, he's really stealthy. He's not going to be that big player at the beginning if you're targeting big players, because in your mind, who the hell is Nolan? But once he sneaks up and once he gets you, you're like, damn, I was too slow to get this motherfucker. And that's why I target quiet, subtle people like him, because he has the potential to really captivate people middle to the end of the game. And like you guys said, he's fairly solid in competitions and he's not really bad socially or strategically. So if they don't take him out early, he could be dangerous towards the middle and the end.
All right, so next we're moving on to Shawnee. And Nick, you get to start.
Shawnee? Oh, I don't know Shawnee. I mean, I know a lot of Shawnee from Zach, but
Listen,
I feel like he's likable. He seems cool. Aside from that, I've never seen him do extremely well in a game. I've only seen him play games, so I really have no clue how he's going to do. Like, honestly, no clue. He's a complete wild card to me.
All right, Zach.
oh, okay. Oh, Shawnee, my boy. Oh, I love him so much.
We know.
Shut up. Okay. Like in all honesty, as much as I love him, I don't see him doing exceptionally well. Because I see him getting out at least after the first tribe swap, because we did cast him along with someone that he has had past bad relationships with. And that's the only relationship that he does have going into this game. Other than with Paul, he does not know anyone else. And so that could be very worrisome for his game. Usually, why he gets out early in games is because he plays way too hard and tries to get his hands into way too many pots, and that can get him in trouble. In all honesty, it's just going to be based around the other players of uh, whether or not they see how much influence he has on things. So I see him getting pre-jury again, as much as I would love for him to get to the end.
Jabbar.
Train wreck, train wreck, train wreck. Oh my goodness. I tend to think that I'm pretty charming in games, but I have absolutely nothing on Shani. He can literally talk me out of my underwear, and I would just hand him to him. Just throw it at him. He is so fucking, like, he has a way with his words like no one that I've ever played an orc with. And unfortunately, I think that that's going to be his downfall. With this cast, I don't think that they're going to let him get away with it, honestly. I think that if he's not careful with how he's schmoozing people over, I think that it's going to come back and it's going to bite him. But he definitely has the capability to talk anyone under the table, and he is so motherfucking good at it. It is crazy. Side note, it's really interesting that we're talking about Shani because a pre-made is being exposed to him as we speak in this chat that we're all in. So now he has extra information that he can use at his disposal, and it depends on how he uses it. So
Wait, what do you mean?
it's the Cutthroat Survivor alumni chat. People are exposing other non-Tengagers. In particular, Maynard and Danny are being exposed as a final two at this moment.
Wait,
And
where?
Shiny Boy now has information that other people don't have. Well, I guess Paul
Where
and
is
Darcy
it?
have
I didn't see
it.
that.
Hmm?
Oh, is the other Cutthroat VO? I'm looking at JV, but not the other one.
The
Yeah,
one hosted by Stoner and Mel.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I'm not in that.
Ooh, that's interesting.
yeah. So that's just a little side note, but continue.
Maynard might actually be in trouble now. All right, so here's the thing with Shawnee. I want to see Shawnee do better than I think he's going to. I like Shawnee. He seems very likable. He seems very charming. But of the 3 games I've seen him in, well, 2, one was canceled after like 2 days. He flopped pretty hard in both of them. It was due to him leaving the game on his own terms, and the other was due to him just being voted out straight up early. I don't know how well he's going to do this season. I know he has the capability to do well, but if people catch on to his game too early, like whoever it was said he plays too hard, I think it was Zach that said that. If he comes out swinging and plays too hard too fast, he's going to get caught and he's going to get voted out, especially if he starts running around with this information. Hey, Maynard and Danny are final 2, let's vote them out. Because in a battle between Maynard and Shawnee, I think I see Maynard coming out on top of that one. Which, unfortunately, if Shawnee starts doing that, is going to undo his own game. So we're done with the Panama tribe. We're going to move on to Sanma. And next, actually, is Danny. Who is starting Danny? Zach.
Danny. Oh yeah, I'm the one who interviewed her actually. To be honest, she seems a little bit boring. Like, I'm not gonna lie. She seems like the kind of player and person that people just forget about, like, as the game is happening. And so I feel like anytime during the game, people are gonna wake up and be like, "Oh, Danny's still here. Why is she here? What has she done so far?" And just get unanimously voted out. I see the direction. I see that as the direction of which Danny's going to be taking, but you never know.
Okay, Jabbar?
Okay, so I don't know anything about Danny besides her intro video, but she has 2 great things going for her. 1, obviously, she's a female, and 2, she support the gays, honey. She support the gays. She'll be around. She will be around, and I am with it. And she's not my number 1 pick, but I do like her vibe and her energy. So I would love to at least see her make merge.
All right, so here's the Danny. And I actually had to sell Zach on this. Like, I had to show him wiki pages and everything. But Danny has played Tumblr Survivor twice, and she's made finals both times. She is a fairly consistent player. She knows how to play the game. Like, she comes off as kind of boring, kind of uninteresting. She can play the game. She can play with the best of them. One thing that she loved going on about in her production chat was how she got someone to give her an idol clue, went and found the idol, and then voted that guy out the same round. So Danny is not afraid to make moves. She's not afraid to cutthroat. And again, if she can link up with Maynard, who we've already discussed that, but if she can link up with Maynard, those 2 are going to be a power duo. Because those 2 will destroy this game. And I forgot to, but Keaton's already recognized that. He posted in his production chat, "Oh God, Maynor, we're all in trouble." All right, Nick.
So another person I don't really know because I'm old and don't know these newfangled children.
I think she's older than you.
She's 22, I think.
No one's older than me. I'm old.
She looks a lot younger than she is.
She reminds me of Ali Kosen, who I played Torched with. Stuff, which I think she's not going to be as loose-lipped of information, just as likable, and will draw people in. And I feel like being a female is always an advantage in New York. Let's be real. All the gays want to line with the girls, and so I really don't think she's anything to worry about unless she does something stupid.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to Darcy and Jabbar. You can start.
I said Sean was a train wreck. Darcy is a fucking tsunami, honey. He is here to bring the pain, the drama, and he should not be anywhere near Emerge because chaos is gonna ensue. Darcy, I love Darcy to death and I'm rooting for him. Strategically, absolutely not. He is gonna, if you call yourself wanting to ally with Darcy, get ready for everybody to know your business, honey. Get ready for drama. And I cannot wait for him to have to go to tribal council so every one of these motherfuckers can see what I'm talking about because he is a mess and I am here for it.
It is 10 minutes into the game and he already has 2 final 2s.
So here's the thing about Darcy. He comes off as very unassuming. He comes off as very uninteresting, like in his videos and stuff. That dude is a fucking train wreck when it comes to games. Like, he is just a mess. I hosted him recently in my group game series, and he blew the fuck up with no provocation. He flipped on his alliance because he just wasn't feeling it that day. He flipped his vote maybe 7-8 times before tribal council. He will blow up his own game with the slightest provocation. Like, if you just poke him the wrong way, boom, there goes your game. You need to get a very strong hold on Darcy if you want to work with him, because like he can be a good ally, but you need to keep the reins on him. And I mean, that's the thing. He's not even a terrible player. He's proven in the past that he can play the game, but oh my God, he's a mess. Go ahead.
Okay. So I've played a whole 2 games of Darcy, and neither of them are recent at all. One, Julian actually. One was Norway, which is infamous, and the other is Last Man Standing. In both, he was a complete detriment despite being a very close friend of Julian, who continuously tried to fuck us over for literally no reason other than we didn't talk to him enough or some bullshit. I don't know. So my issue with Darcy is he doesn't feel like he's good with an alliance unless they literally sit there and baby him and cater to whatever emotion he's feeling that day, which you might not know what emotion to cater to. So I would never want to attack Darcy because I would never be able to trust that going into tribal, he's going to shut his mouth and do what I tell him to do. That's just not a good ally that you want to have if they can't shut up and hold. And I thought like I was a mess.
Yeah, that's funny. Really coming from you.
I'm actually good at knowing who to tell my information to. It's when they don't listen and shut their mouth that becomes a problem.
And that's the thing. Until you play with Darcy, you really don't know what to expect. And then once you've played with him, that is your image of Darcy.
You kind of respect yourself a lot more after playing with Darcy. You're like, oh wow, I thought I was a mess, but
It's funny. I seem to be the only person here who has not played a game with Darcy. I have not seen him play, and I actually did not know this information about him beforehand.
Yeah.
So
like he is the messiest person in this cast by far, and there's some messy people.
He's not the person you'd expect to be the biggest mess, but he is.
Any preconceived notion that I had for Darcy just went completely out the window. I love the guy, like just as a friend and everything.
Oh, he's a sweetheart. He's just
yeah. I've never seen him in game though, so I'm looking forward to that actually.
Yeah. Sorry, Darcy, when you watch this. Love you, bud.
We're just on the K, ladies.
Well, if we thought we were talking about fun people before, let's talk about Glow.
Is it me?
Yep, it's you. Go for it.
Clearly, you guys just wanted to put the biggest messes on the same tribe because if it's not Darcy, it's Glow, honey, and she is here. She is bringing the pain. She is bringing, and what makes it so bad is, to be honest, she's really good at the game. She is a mess, and but she brings the game. She's really good at the game, and she always manages to make it far. And I'm just like, how the hell does she do this? And don't get me started on the fact that she can talk for 5 hours straight. Don't do it. But I don't know what to say about her, but she's a mess, but she's a good kind of mess because she's going to bring the ratings, but she's also going to bring the strategy and the social skills. She's likable. She's making jury. I don't see a world where Glow at least doesn't make it to the jury phase of this game. And once she gets to the jury, it's a whole nother shitstorm. And if her and Darcy makes it to that jury together, get the popcorn because it's going down every round, and I'm here for it.
That's a concept. That's kind of a world I would love to live in, though, just to watch that play out. So I just recently got to play a game with Glow at YouTube Survivor All Stars, and oh my god, she does not stop talking. The thing is, like, I don't even know what I could say about her that Jabbar didn't just say. She's really good at the game, but also does not stop talking. Although I have to bring in my recent experience with her because bias. She loves to go on about, I'm doing my own thing. I'm playing for Glow. No one else tells me what to do. I'm voting how I want to vote, and none of y'all can tell me what to do. I'm not sheeping anybody. And then she just continues to vote with the same people. Putting Glow and Darcy on the tribe in retrospect was a choice. We should have spread the love a little bit, but too late for that now. It's going to be a very interesting time if that tribe loses a challenge because, like, that tribe is going to fucking explode. The first time Samba goes to a tribal, it's going to be a war zone.
And Jay's on that tribe as well, right?
Yeah, we'll get to Jay.
Oh, we're working our way down the list, sweetie.
We're getting there, but we're focusing on Glow right now. Nick, go ahead.
Okay, so I've played one game with Glow. You can call it a game because it was Constance's big brother, which we all know is something. I feel like Glow's this whole person. I mean, blah 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 blah, but she's really just it's just for one or two people, and she does what they say, and she pretends she's doing her own thing, but she's crazy. If you even like slightly shade her, she's found new people that she's now with. I feel like Glow will not shut up. To repeat the same thing everyone else has said because it's all very accurate. Glow will go very far because who doesn't want a crazy old hag lady? They're all gonna do it. She's gonna go far. She probably will go to the end. I don't think she will win.
Glow will align with all of the gays, just all of them, and the gays will just love her because it's what we do. It's what we do. And like it's just Glow, you know? I've played one game with Glow and she was and we wanted to take each other to the end and I got blindsided and I got voted out and she got voted out the next round. Um and so she's the type of player to where if you lie to her and it's really obvious that you lie to her, she will never trust you again. She will do whatever it takes to get you out. She's that good of a player, and I'm so fucking excited. I can't wait.
She's got a pretty strong bullshit. She's got a pretty strong bullshit sniffer.
Yes, she does.
All right, so now we're going to get to Jay, and oh look, I get to start. The thing about Jay is, even more so than Glow, Jay is chaotic, but he's also very good at the game. Jay is a social beast. Even though, like, he will be saying so much shit about you in his confessionals, but to your face, he'll be like, hey, oh my god, you're my best friend. Let's be in together. Let's be a final two. Oh my god, I love you so much.
Mm-hmm.
He's not afraid to stir up shit, though, and yet somehow he's never the one who takes the fall for it. He'll start the shit, but he won't pay for the shit. I can see Jay going very far in this game, especially with the tribe he's on right now, because this tribe is going to implode, and I don't think he's going to be the one voted out, but I do think he's going to have a hand in starting it. Nick, go ahead.
Okay, so let's leave the personal drama out of this. Because Jay has an issue with me, the past drama. I feel like as someone who knows his song and dance, it's predictable once you know what he's doing. If these people don't know what he's doing, they're going to leave him in the game round after round after round after round. He can't win a challenge for the most part. He's not the most likable, but he's likable enough. He doesn't very intimidating strategically, but he actually is pretty smart. So like they're not going to see him as a threat. If they don't know he's actually a threat that's playing every single person and running to everyone, they're gonna leave him in the game and he's gonna go near the end. I don't think he has it in him to win with this cast. I think he'll be in the final 6-7 area. Unless they all catch under stick really quick or they already know it. And he's fucked.
Zach?
Sorry, I'm coming back. I was just sending a message.
A message, huh?
Do what?
Nothing.
No, what'd you say?
I said a message, huh?
Yes, it was a message actually. So Jay is okay. Jay, like when it comes to games, Jay is the good kind of mess to where somehow, some way it benefits him. And that could be fun to watch, but not fun to be a part of. It's strange how well he maneuvers through people and through alliances and through players and all that. It's strange how well he does that when we look at how messy he really is as a person, like emotionally. And that's rich coming from me because I'm a messy emotionally person as well. So I can relate to him on a personal level. I look forward to being blocked by him after this season when he watches this.
Same.
I'm already blocked, so.
But no, he is actually somehow a good player. And I can see him either getting first couple boots or going extremely far.
I've told him, like, just real quick before Jabbar, I've told him this to his face. He's one of the few people I'm terrified to play with. I cannot figure out how to work that man. Go ahead, Jabbar.
Unless you're Chris Stoner.
Okay, so in a perfect world, Jay would be the first motherfucker sent home off this tribe. Jay is literally like one of, if not my best friend around this community. And I can say that comfortably. I think that the tribe should vote him out first because it's not like he's going to be the best at competitions. He's going to be a petty catty bitch and complain. But mark my words, he's going to run this tribe. And the reason why I say that is because he has two really key components on this tribe. He has Darcy, who we're in that chat with, and Darcy is probably going to cling to Jay off of this tribe, knowing Darcy. And then he has Glow, who he was on production while she was in YouTube Survivor. And they had a really good connection when he will hop on call and things like that. He has the two biggest nutcases on his side. In what world doesn't he run this? All he needs is one other person to like just pretty much kiss their ass, which is probably what he's gonna do these first few days. He's gonna work on his ass kissing skills. And at that point, he's picking the other three people off. And to be honest, I really see this tribe losing a few times. And because of that, if you're not on Jay's good side on this tribe, you want to fuck home. And that's just the end of the story.
The thing about I'm going to say real quick, if you think anyone can control Darcy, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go any direction in the world.
I agree to an extent. I don't see them voting Jay out. I don't think that he can control them, but I do think that they can work together in a cohesive to take out one of the unknowns for at least a round or two.
For a round, maybe. I don't know about him being perfectly safe.
I don't know about long term, but I can see that working for a little bit.
I do think Jay will be in control of that tribe. If I had to guess right now, he will run it.
All right, so next up, we are moving to JJ River Kid, and I think it's Nick that starts this one.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Nick.
So, yeah, this is someone I don't know pretty well. He's already making chat. He's talking to Darcy. So, I don't know how stable he is. I'm trying to find his prod chat so I can remember like who he is. So this is the kid that reminds me of Livingston.
He was the very first video.
Okay, but like I'm looking through my production chats because I'm lazy. I don't know. I don't really know him well. He doesn't seem very crazy interesting. I just think he's gonna float far because he's on the crazy people tribe. Unless he's a secret crazy, then
Zach?
JJ, in all honesty, he seems kind of one of the more annoying people in this game, or that are going to be a part of the castaways. I don't know much of him personally. I've never met him before this like interview process or anything, and so all I have to go off of that is interviews and what we've talked. Julian seems to like him a lot because JJ was your autocast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so if Julian sees potential in the kid, then I can see potential in the kid.
I forgot that was his autocast in all honesty.
Yeah.
And I'll get to why when it's my turn.
And so personally, I see him being early merge or late pre-jury.
Jabbar?
Okay, so I think that it goes a long way to be like the most sanest person on a tribe And I think that JJ could potentially be that same person on a tribe full of crazies and delusionals. Because this tribe, we've already established that this is the mess tribe. They're a fucking mess. And as I was looking through the intro videos, out of all the people I did not know, I immediately was like, JJ, he seems like the most calm, stable, like middle of the road type of person. And in a tribe full of messy people and just craziness, that's going to take him a long way because nobody's going to be focused on the one sane person. They're going to be focused on getting rid of the rest of the bullshit and the ridiculousness. And we can even reference YouTube Survivor Season 5, the Mind Tribe in particular. Everybody thought that Ben was the one normal person on a tribe full of messy, crazy, ridiculous actions and antics. Well, this is just from the people on the outside looking in. Ben was considered the normal person while everyone else was
Ben like Kelly 0412 Ben?
Yeah, Mud into Wilderness.
geez, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can confirm Ben was not the sane person on that tribe. He got into just as many fights as the rest of us. Made us public. No, trust me, Ben had his fair share of hot moments, like heat moments.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. To the common eye, you always have that one seemingly normal person in a tribe full of crazies, and if JJ is that person, it's going to work out really well for him because nobody's going to target the one normal person in a sea full of crazies.
I have to say, this is probably the perfect tribe for JJ to be on because, like y'all said, he is the sanest person on a tribe of crazy people. He isn't the biggest game player, but he does know how to play the game and he knows how to play it very well. I've seen him play before. He can go very far. He has a lot of potential. Like, I personally tend to use my autocast on people who aren't like the biggest names, the first names, but people that I see a lot of potential in. Like, my biggest one was Connor back in season 2, who would have gotten straight up cut, not even an alternate if I didn't use it. But I gave him my shot, and he made it to Final 5 out of 21. I give JJ the same thing because I see the same sort of potential in him. I see him going very far. I can see him flying through people's radars because this is going to be a cast full of people for blood, and they're not going to be out for JJ's blood. He's going to find himself a little hole to fit himself in, and he's going to slip right on through. I think JJ is going to make a deep run in this game. The one thing that works against him is his work schedule, which is something that I know far too well about. But honestly, I can see him going very far in this season. All right, so next up, we're going to Paul. And Zach, you can start.
Oh, Paul. From what I know about him is that he is a really good game player and he really knows how to maneuver under the radar despite giving off the perception that he is extremely smart and extremely good at the game. I've only ever had one experience with what he has played, and that was Cutthroat, and that has all been told to me from two different perspectives, being Jabbar and Johnny, and obviously they were both on different sides, and so of course the descriptions of Paul are going to be different, but from what have correlated is that, or what both sides have agreed upon, is that he is extremely smart and knows when it is time to make the right moves. Because he got 4th, I believe, did he not?
Yep.
And correct me if I'm wrong, if he did not go home that round, he was going to win the season. And that was one of his first orgs. And so, like, he is a really good game player. And that's all I got to say about it.
Jabbar?
Okay, and all of my recent experience at orgs, if I had to compare someone to place as similar to me as possible, in one caveat of quality-wise, completely opposite from me. Like, we can both literally screw someone over, and he's like the angelic like saint. Oh, everyone loves Paul. Like they'll forgive him. Like he's just Paul. Everyone hates me. I'm screwed. My name is tarnished. Everything, and because he's personality wise, he's the exact opposite of me. I suck at finals. If he gets to the final, he'll win hands down. He's so likable. He's really devious and manipulative, but charming. Because when you first talk to him, he comes off as like a really innocent, sweet person. And as soon as he screws you over, he's gonna tell you, "Hey, I really wanted you out from the beginning. Don't take it personal. You know, I've been plotting your demise from the beginning." And everyone's gonna love him for him. So if this cast was really smart, they would send his ass home before he gets anywhere near a jury, because at that point he's just going to be racking up votes until he's in a finale, and you have no shot of winning before you even get a chance to plead your case.
All right, so Paul was sent to us by mutual friend Jabbar. So right off the bat, so I don't know too much about Paul personally, other than what I've been told from various people. Jabbar, Zach's version of what Shawnee said, and I talked to Jeremy, JB, last night about him, and this is what Jeremy had to say. Paul was the best player on our season, nice guy, good at making friends, but also isn't afraid to play the game. Now, based on what I've heard, I can see Paul going very far. I can see him just destroying this cast. And again, he's on a tribe full of crazies. Who's going to vote him out on a tribe full of crazy people? Even though they really
Paul didn't play JB's the group game Cutthroat. We're talking about the org.
Yes, they were on the same season together.
Oh, what? Oh, okay. Never mind. I got
Yeah,
confused.
JB was on that season. He placed third.
Oh, love that.
Yep. All right, go ahead, Nick.
Okay, so like, I don't really know Paul. He seemed pretty cool. I think his biggest issue, one is going to be he doesn't have the same kind of connections a lot of other people have. And so when you're in a bad swap, his tribe mates might run to their other connections, and he's going to be left to the wayside. Because lose. Like, let's be real, this tribe is going to be a hot mess express, sucks bill. So when like 3 people at the swap, what are they really going to do? He's going to be kind of screwed. If he can survive that, I think he'll make it to like final 5, 6. If he can get past the swap, that's going to be his biggest fucking obstacle in this game.
All right, so Jabbar, and we're moving on to Pietro. Wait, are we back to Jabbar?
Yes. No, we're at...
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so at Jabbar.
Yep. All right, Jabbar, you're at Pietro. Go ahead.
Okay, so I don't know anything about Pietro, but based off of his intro, I really liked his personality. He has a little bit of charm to him with the accent and things like that. And I'm actually rooting really well for him, especially on a tribe like this. I feel like with the amount of craziness that this tribe is bringing, if you're not as nuts as half the people on this tribe, you'll be perfectly fine. So as long as he keeps his little fun, energetic, energy, he'll be fine for now.
All right, so Pietro was on season 4 of T-Viver, and he received 4th place to my knowledge. So he's not terrible at the game. I loved his video. He's a very fun person, especially that little montage at the end, which seemed to get people's attention. Where I take issue with Pietro is he basically flat out said in his video that he's going to be a yes man. Someone comes to him with a strategy, yep. Someone comes to him with an alliance, yep. And saying that in your video is kind of a damning thing, because if people go back and watch that, like for reference, they're going to see that and they're going to know that he's just agreeing with everything. And they're going to think, oh, well, he's probably agreeing to what they have to say too. Can we trust him? And I think that if people look at it that way, he's not going to be included in a whole lot. I don't think he's going to get voted out immediately, but I don't think he's going to be like a big power player because I just don't know how much people are going to trust him. He's one of those people that I want to see do better than I think he's going to. Nick, go ahead.
So based on what Petro has said, I think he understands the game except for one aspect, which is so much information. You can't tell every single person everything. You have to give certain information to certain people. And he's going to say yeah, but he's telling everyone he's saying yes. And that is literally the most damning thing in the world you can do. If you're going to play the appeaser game, you cannot let anyone know you're doing that because then you're useless to everybody. So, one, I think he's not going to get along with Jay, and Jay's going to find him in. So he could very well be the first person out because Jay is going to run that tribe. I'm sorry, I fully believe it. I think he's kind of screwed on his tribe. I do not think he'll make it. And if he somehow does, I think he'll be fine. I think everyone else in the other two tribes will want to pull him in because he'll seem usable. I think he'll have a very hard time getting off this tribe because unless they magically win a lot of challenges, which I don't think is likely. Because I don't think him and Jay are going to mesh, and I think he's going to get into fights with Darcy, and I feel like he's going to be really easy, whether people like him or not.
Zach?
So sorry, I went off camera. He seems a little too immature for my taste. And I don't know if other people are going to perceive it that way. I do see him being a first boot, if not one of the first couple boots. I don't see him being perceived as very likable by a lot of the people on the tribe, and yeah, I do think people are gonna just use him as a first boot so that they could get by farther in the game.
All right, so that's it for the Hot Mess Express tribe. Sanna. So we're going to move on to Tara and Ben Mud into Wilderness. So Ben has been labeled, it's kind of an in-joke, but there is some truth to it. He's been labeled as the liar and the deceiver. Now, I know people call him that in jest, but there is quite a bit of truth to it because Ben is very good at being fake to people. He will lie straight to your face, and like even if you know it's a lie, he'll sell it so well that you'll want to buy it. He's very smart and very perceptive of the game, but if you like the second people figure out his game, he's not very good at defending himself. So as soon as people figure out his game, they can just overwhelm him, take him out in one shot. So it's basically going to be a matter of how long can he keep up his act. As soon as the facade drops, as soon as one person catches on, he's gone. Although I do see him making merge. Who knows? Nick, go ahead.
So, looking at this tribe, there's a lot of either A, under the radar players, or B, middle of the road players. And I feel like that's going to be Ben's biggest issue on this tribe because he has a big thing of aligning of like one really big alpha who can kind of deflect him for a little bit so we can do lying and song and dance. And it's really hard to really explain Ben because when I played him, he was a pretty much a newbie and he was really easy for me to manipulate. But I feel like on this tribe, a lot of people know him, and that's kind of screw him over. Like Connor knows his song and dance, knows his song and dance. I'm sure Sean does. Like most of these people know what shit he's gonna pull. So I feel like they'll easily agree to get rid of him unless he like turns up his social game, and I don't know if he has it in him to be likable and him all of a sudden. So he's gonna need to do like a complete 180 and probably get in with Connor because I think Connor, we'll get to later, is gonna be in a good spot in this tribe.
Okay, I forgot to mention real quick. I think the biggest thing working in Ben's favor is that there's 2 non-tangagers on this tribe, so there's at least 2 guaranteed people who've never played with him before and who don't know his shtick.
Ben is actually one of my closest friends from 10 Gauged, and he, like, I haven't played an org with him, but I have played a mini with him, and I've played a group game with him. He actually no, I played Zach Brown's that flop that flop of the season. Jeez, the icons. That was actually when I first met him, and he voted me out because he's a liar and a deceiver. Um, he does. He is extremely smart and knows how to manipulate people, but since a lot of people do know that, they're going to use that to their advantage and try to take him out early. If he's in a position where people do not know much about that side of him, then I can see him making it fun.
Jabbar?
Out of all the people that I do have some type of knowledge about on this tribe, I think that Ben is like one of the most strategic. But I think that it's going to be his downfall on a tribe like this. I agree with Nick. I feel like there's a lot of people who, like the 10 Gagers, know who he is. And anytime Nick, what did I say, Nick? Anytime Ben is like on a tribe with people who know who he is, for the most part, he seems to be a target because, you know, he's always like an in-game threat or like a strategic threat or some type of like threat in game wise. And I feel like that's going to be his downfall. However, I personally am rooting for Ben, believe it or not. I just, I think he's gonna have a hard time on a tribe like this. I think he would have did better on the second tribe that we just talked about because they, besides the messes, like the other half are like really low key, and I think that there's not enough low key people on a tribe like this, and people are gonna talk, and he's gonna get exposed really early. But I am personally pulling for him.
Oh, I would love to be wrong and him to go far. That'd be
Yeah.
great. But these are the little whisper in your ear manipulator tribe, and Ben
Yeah,
with those people well, especially not 4, 5, 6 of them.
yeah, I agree.
Like I said, I think the best thing working for him on this tribe is that there's 2 people guaranteed who never played with him. But also, there's a bunch of people on this tribe who do know his shit. All right, next is Connor, and Nick, you get to start.
Wait, what?
Connor, you get to start. Go ahead.
Oh, my autocast Connor. So I feel like Connor is one of the most underrated players ever because everyone is like, oh, Connor's not strategic. He's just likable. Da da da. No, Connor is a freaking little angel, but he is secretly behind your back, ready to stab anyone. I feel like Connor, he's extremely likable, and I feel like Connor is really smart, and he doesn't pull that off. And the reason why no one remembers that Connor's so strategic and backstabby is because he uses half truths rather than because he understands that you can't always be lying to people, and because he knows he's not a good liar, he uses the half to kind of get away with it. And then when you play another game, kind of like, well, Connor never lied to me, so maybe I can trust him this time. And you keep falling for the same trap of Connor, which is why I wanted to make sure he was on the season. I feel like Connor is going to bring entertainment. I think he's a really good player, and I think Connor has the best chance of winning on this tribe.
Oh, Connor.
Your best friend.
Oh, I love him to death.
I've never played with Connor, though. I want to play with Connor.
I just played the sister with Connor, actually. I can't talk about too much, but in all honesty, he likes to position himself to where he doesn't have to do a lot of the work, and that can do him in sometimes. And because he could be perceived as someone who is either inactive or is not putting much forth towards the tribe. And if people tend to think like that, I can see him being an early boot. But if he gets past these first couple rounds, I can see him definitely making it far.
Jabbar?
I feel so honored to have gotten to be there for Connor's matriculation in like the OR community. You know, he's not just like this big, wild, loud, proud person, and he actually thinks about strategy when he enters these games rather than acting crazy and just cursing out the first person that he sees and just going crazy. With that being said, I feels like he knows that people view him more so as a character than a thinker. And I think that he's going to use that to his advantage. And I feel like in this game in particular, he has something to prove. And he's coming in it to win it. I do feel that way. And I think that I can see him doing really well. The downside to Connor is that motherfucking temper. The first time he doesn't agree with someone, the gloves are coming off. But if he can control that and contain himself, he'll be unbeatable. I do genuinely see him going really far if he can keep that nasty temper of his in control and just be able to say, okay, we agree to disagree. Let's move on instead of just acting wild the first time someone doesn't agree with him.
Here's what I've noticed with Connor recently is that he does still act wild when he doesn't agree with someone, but instead of just completely responding to the person and like just confronting them about it, he goes into confessionals and vents about it there and just starts yelling at production about what's happening. And
He's gotten a lot better of his temper.
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't say that he's doing it a lot better, but he's able to
do it differently.
Like, do it, use his temper in a way that doesn't damage his game.
I do think Connor has matured a lot as a person and as a game player lately. And I mean, Connor was in Trinity Survivor Season 2. He was my autocast, so he's been autocast twice now for the same series. Go him. He was the last member standing of his swap tribe who kind of fell apart at the merge and were picked off one by a 4-person alliance. Looks at Jabbar. The thing people don't really notice about Connor is that he comes off as kind of a goofball, comes off as like he doesn't really know what he's doing, but Connor knows what he's doing at all times. He's all over the place, but at the end of the day, he knows exactly what he wants to do. And like Jabbar said, if he can keep his temper under wraps, I think he can go far because he is a social threat. His social game is incredible. As long as he doesn't fucking blow up on someone. He's going to either go very far or he's going to go very early. I don't see him being a middle of the road player at all. It's going to depend entirely on him. All right, so
I want to add is I feel like none of us brought this up, and I just kind of came to me. Is that Connor also has really good reads on people, and it's really shocking because you don't expect that from him. But he can tell who the threats are right away, and he can tell who the people he can work with are. And not many people have that ability to the level that Connor has it. He just doesn't have the pull to be able to do stuff about it. But his reads are amazing.
I feel that. And like I said with the Glow before, Connor has a really good bullshit sniffer. He knows when you're lying to him. He knows when you're playing him. He knows fucking with him.
He's a clever kid, and you wouldn't expect that if you were just sitting and talking to him.
Exactly. All right, so we're moving on to Lee. Who starts with Lee? I've lost my place.
Dudley.
I went last, so yep, Zach. Go ahead.
Okay, Lee, scratch what I said about JJ earlier. Lee is one of the most annoying people in this pack for me because I forgot that he was here. Um, I don't think he really knows how much I don't like him, but I've been on. This is going to be my second season to where I've been on a production of an org that he has played, and to be honest, he's just messy. He's just overall rude and immature. And if people, this is the one time where I'm going to be taking personal things into my evaluation of their games because I don't see how people can, in this game specifically, how they can take apart personal in game when it comes to someone like Lee. I see him becoming very annoying to people very quickly, and I see him being, along with Jarrett, someone who could potentially be a target, but can stay around somehow because people need a bigger target than themselves.
Jabbar?
Okay. So every season, every good season needs that person who is so scandalous that they're willing to do whatever it takes just to stay in the game for another round. And I definitely think that it's Lee. You know, he will lie, he will deny, he will sell himself to stay in this game another round. And I think that that's going to definitely be beneficial for him in a game like this. Personal experience playing with Lee, I absolutely hated his guts. Rotten, just disgusting, disturbing person. Which is funny because I actually really do like him outside of the game. But if people feel like how I felt about him and the one experience that I had playing with him in a game, even though it was a group game, then they're probably going to find him annoying and they're probably going to hate his guts. Um, but I mean, maybe it could have just been me and something I was going through at the time. But if other people think like me, then he won't be there too long. But on the flip side of the coin, people say that Lee is actually really, really loyal to the people that he's with. And like he is ride or die, go hard for those people. And he's willing to run his game to the ground for like a select group of people that he tell day one, I got you. And you know, that's the type of person that you want to have around, somebody who you can call your ride or die and that's going to do anything and everything to get you guys forward. So if Lee can find him a good one or two person like ride or die, he's going to be fine. If he irritates the shit out of people from the start, he's going home.
So I'm going to start this off with a big old yeehaw for Lee. So I will stand alone and I will die on this hill and I will say I love Lee and I love having him on my games. He brings the entertainment. He brings the drama. He's a fun person to have. I don't think I've ever really played with him long term in a game. I feel like that would probably change if we played together, but we haven't. So for right now, I'll just say I enjoy having him.
Look at you pre-gaming before an org that happens.
What?
I said, look at you pre-gaming for an org that hasn't even happened yet. That will happen with you and Lee in the future.
So Lee is loyal, like Jabbar just said, he will stay 1000% loyal if you are his person. Like with, say, and I don't mean to bring this up, Jabbar, but like with Jackson Joseph in Archetype Royale. If you are his person or you are his people, he will throw his own game away for you. He will go to the end with you, even if it means fucking himself. It does not matter to him. He just wants one of his people to win. So he's a good ally to have, but at the same time, if you're not like his person, if you are not his people, you probably will find him annoying and you will probably want him out of the game. So it's going to depend on who his people are and how much pull they have. Although, Granted, I've hosted him 4 times before, and he's made the final 3 of those times. So he has proven himself to be fairly competent on his own. Nick, I'm sure you have quite a bit to say.
Okay, so I played with Lee quite a few times. We have been the best of allies sometimes. We have been the worst of fucking enemies. I feel like Lee is easy to talk to, but he can be draining after a while. I feel like Lee is going to get along swimmingly with some of these people, because these people are kind of annoying too. But the thing about Lee is, yes, he's really fucking loyal to the people he's with. He will not turn on his people. These people in the tribe, I don't see Lee being able to manipulate them. I feel like a lot of the people from Tengage know his little shtick that he is going to stab everyone else in the back other than his 1 or 2 people, and they might not feel confident that they're Lee's 1 or 2 people. Because Lee's not 1 or 2 people on his first tribe. So people like Connor and Mud and they might together and say, well, that's kind of a snake, but at least we know he's a snake. We don't know if Lee's going to be a snake or the angel for us. Why don't we just take him out? So Lee's either going to go really, really far or he's going to be out really fucking fast. It's really going to depend on how he interacts with these people, and it's really hit or miss because some people find him the most annoying person on the planet. Other people love him to death.
He's very polarizing. You either adore him or you cannot fucking stand being around him for 2 seconds.
I can handle him in doses.
There's no in between. So next we're moving on to Logan L. Hooper, and it's Jabbar that starts. Jabbar,
Okay, I really, in the org sense, I really don't have any experience at all with L. Hooper. But from a group game standpoint, like he was always like first or second boot in practically every game that I pretty much play with him. So I don't know if that resonates to how well he has done in the past in orgs or like how well he hasn't done. But I mean, orgs are way harder than group games. So he was virtually inactive in group games. I don't think that he's going to be inactive in orgs, but it's something about L. Hooper, Logan, and that teams. And whether it's an org or a group game, I think that the result can essentially be the same. I'm not necessarily saying that he'll be like the first boot if their tribe loses, but I do not know if I 100% have personal confidence in him to do well because I really don't know his org standpoints.
So I hosted him in my group game series once, and he was one of the biggest tryhards I've ever seen. Like, he even admitted last season he was trying to be a villain just for the sake of being a villain. And you know what it netted him? 0 jury votes. So I know that Logan can either be very inactive, like, he has a spectrum, or he will either be super inactive and go early, or he will be the biggest fucking tryhard in this cast. He will never shut up for 2 seconds, give anyone time to breathe. He will be in your PMs at all times, trying to play as hard as humanly possible, or he won't log on at all. I don't know which, although I'm hoping for the latter just because I want to see people be active, obviously. But I don't really know how I feel about him, honestly. He's one of those people that I just don't quite have much to say about. Go ahead, Nick.
So I have also hosted Logan before in a very polarizing game that Julian and Zach were on. And he was a hot mess express. I had no clue who he was before the season, and I literally thought Sakashi made a multi, and that was the fuck who it was. That's how messy he was. Literally, he sends me, this is like 2 seconds in the game. Who are these fucking TV stars? They need to go. These returnees need to go. And he was so focused on returnees that I haven't hosted in like 2 fucking years. I'm like, relax. He was part of the Douche Bro Alliance, and he ran to everyone, and he was just absolute crazy. No one liked him. Literally, Marta was the only person who fucking liked the bitch. And he kind of survived because, one, He was up Mel's ass, and no one wants to fight with Mel. Love you, Mel. And 2, he's just crazy, and there was no reason to waste a vote on him. So I feel like it's gonna be difficult to say how he'll do on this game, because if he brings up this Hot Mess Express side, they're all pretty sane. Some of them are annoying, but they're all pretty sane. They're not going to deal with him. And if he brings his more inactive side or his laid back side, I feel like he could go kind of far. I don't know, he's kind of creepy too. Like, people felt really skewed out by him in my game. I don't know if he's worked on that and made himself more approachable, because this is an org. It's not a game. It's a more communication. So I don't know if he'll be able to be more personal on a Skype call than sending you a message at 3 a.m. That's like short and creepy looking because you're getting a message at 3 a.m. Like, who the fuck does that in a group game? It's really you work. You're different. So it's really up in the air of him, and I feel like on this tribe he might be an easy boot. Again, there's a lot of easy boots on this tribe, so it's really hard to say who it's going to be because they're all kind of the same player.
All right, Zach, go ahead.
Logan, I don't remember playing with him. I don't. All I remember is his interview and intro video. To me, his action shot was kind of cringy. He's the one who is knocking down the dominoes, right?
Yep.
Okay.
At least he put effort into it. Like, I thought it was different than most people's.
Oh yeah, it was definitely different, but not.
It was still cringy.
But it was a little cringy, not gonna lie, and I can see how people would think that he is a little creepy. I genuinely have no idea how he's going to do. I'm afraid that if I had to pick someone to be inactive of the season, I feel like Logan would be the inactive of the season. Or people.
He's another one who has horrible job times.
Yeah. If I had to pick someone who would put the least effort into there, I would pick Logan.
Where are we at? All right. So is that it for Logan?
Do what?
Is that it for Logan?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we are on to Madison. All right. I personally don't know her at all. I don't really have anything to say about her at all. I know she played a season of Tumblr Survivor with Zach. I don't even know how she placed. I just know that Zach stabbed her in the back or something. I have literally zero opinion on Madison. Nick, go ahead.
She seems cool from our production chat, but that's about all I have to go off of. I know she was late as fuck getting her crap in, and it was pissing me the fuck off. But aside from that, she seems pretty cool.
All right, Zach, go ahead.
So Madison, love you, babe. She is my autocast of the season because if she cares about this game and if she is playing it, you will absolutely see why I fucking love her so much. Because she is the definition of the word villain. And that is why I stabbed her in the back and voted her out. Because she has been named villain of the season, I think, over 5 times. From what I what
said only 5. Get on my level, bitch.
And Tumblr orgs are much different than group games. They're very few, far in between. Because she's a Tumblr org, and so that's also something that's going to be, I feel like, used to her advantage. If the 10 gaugers automatically don't target the Tumblr orgers, I do feel like she would do exceptionally well, and I'm very excited to see how my little Madison will play. I'm done.
All right, Jabbar, go ahead.
Okay, so I really don't. To be honest, I don't know any of the last three. But in regards to Madison, something about her I really like. I feel like, the vibe that I got from her intro video kind of led me to believe that she's the type to be like fairly honest. And yeah, she seems like a really honest person. And I think that there's going to be one crowning jewel on this tribe, if that's her personality for real. And it's going to be Connor. And I think that if she is like fairly honest, mixed with his brutally honestness, I think that they're going to work really well together. They're instantly going to cling, and that can be a match made in hell if that goes that way. And out of the people who I don't know and who I'm guessing on how their personality is, I can see her and her honesty taking her a long way.
I can see it.
Okay, so the penultimate person is Sean. Go ahead, Nick, I think. Yep.
Yeah, it is me, and I have played with Sean before, so I do know Sean. Oh, so I played a lovely game that I won. It was an actual org called Torch, and it was a very trying experience because Sean was kind of in the driver's seat, and I wasn't, and I was a fucking Dylan Halloween in the minority. So as you can tell, that's a fun place to be. I think Sean is a dictator. I think Sean likes to be in control. Sean's conversations revolve around making fun of Heather Lee Cameron.
Yes, they do. He does not stop talking about her.
And I feel like it's going to rub this cast the wrong way. Because they're not going to sit there and just stand Heather Lee Cameron and watch Heather Lee Cameron videos and shit talk her all day. They're going to get annoyed, and I feel like it's going to rub him the wrong way. He's too strong a personality because he's used to like real orgs. And T orgs are kind of like an in between of group games and Skype orgs, and I feel like they're gonna be annoyed by him because he's a lot more used to that pace. And I feel like some of these people are gonna make their alliances, and then Sean's gonna be kind of pissing them off. So that might be the saving grace of people, or he could surprise us and he could do really well because he is smart strategically. I just don't know if he has a social game to get along with these people. They're both kind of annoying.
Zach, go ahead.
Okay. So I actually can compare Sean to myself in a specific way to where he is as emotionally messy as I am. He's sort of like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Okay. He's like a mix between me and Julian in ways. Because he knows he's a very, very bad liar, and his social game is going to be sort of the weakest part of his game. And he's actually just told me today about like the cast reveal and shit. And I'm in another game with him at the moment. And it's sad to say because I was actually pretty angry when he told me this, but he said that he's not going to try as hard in Trinity as he is in the game that we're playing at the moment. And I'm like, well, okay, well, fuck you then. But he said like once he gets voted out of that game or something, then he'll like start paying attention or whatnot. But if that indicates that he's going to be inactive in this first part of the game, then I can see him going home soon. I don't see him making it very far.
Jabbar?
Okay, instantly, I don't really know this person at all, Sean. So I'm gonna really trust Nick's word. And if I'm trusting Nick's word on Sean, then I have to assume that a person like Sean is going to get into an altercation with a person like Connor. A person like Sean is going to get into an altercation with a person like Lee. I don't see it working out for Sean on a tribe like this.
For a lot.
Yeah, I kind of got
As
that
a
vibe.
pre-swap tribe, we would fight when we won challenges. That's how fucking messy we were. He's
Yeah,
a fighter.
So did Mon.
yeah. I feel like this is not the tribe for Sean. I feel like Sean also would have done well on the
I don't think
second
we're done
tribe.
well on any tribe.
But I think he would have had the best chance with the Darcy and Glow, just because it's already a shit show for half of that tribe. But on a tribe like this, I think that he's definitely going to find himself on the chopping block. And I think that it's twice as bad for him because besides Madison, he's the only non-10 gauger. So if it comes down to 5 versus 2 and they have to choose between the two of them, I can see Sean going home before Madison. With that being said, I'm never 100% down and out on anybody. So maybe he has a chance, but if he's like the really dictatorish, argumentative type of person, I don't think he's gonna mesh well with this tribe at all.
Especially not Ben. Ben might actually get really pissed at another dictator.
Yeah, right.
All right, I don't know Sean too well, and if he's already saying he's not gonna try, then oh well. If
No,
like he said to Zach,
he didn't say that he wasn't going to try. He said that he wasn't going to try as hard as he usually does.
well, I mean that's the thing. Like on a tribe like this, he's going to need to maybe tone it back a bit. So maybe not trying as hard would be good for him, because if he goes all out, then as Nick has said, he's going to push people away. He's going to piss people off. But maybe, just maybe, toning it back and trying less would be better for him.
Well, he's gotten mid-boot every game he's played, so like maybe he should look at that.
Right. All right, so we're going to wrap this up with Timmy, me Duncan, and we're going to start with Zach.
Timmy has a crush on me.
Aww.
He is a lot like Jay. Like, you honestly wouldn't believe how much those two have in common when it comes to personality and outlooks of what they think about the game and think about other people. I see him doing extremely well, actually. And it's funny because I'm very interested in seeing if they make it to this point and seeing how Jay and Timmy interact with each other. I'm very, very interested in that conversation.
Jabbar?
Yeah, to be honest, when I was watching Timmy's intro video, because I don't know him as well, he was another person that was fairly middle of the road. Like he was really monotone and middle of the road. And me personally, I'm a fan of middle of the road people because those are the people that you need to watch out for. And I think that I don't know. I don't see him being like the first or second target on a tribe like this. So I think that if they win enough competitions, he can like slide his middle of the road as far as he possibly can. And to be honest, he can actually win it. Yeah, he was really monotone. He was really low energy. But I think on a tribe like this, that type of energy works. So if he can adapt to his surroundings, like if he definitely gets swapped onto a high energy tribe, if like he can try and pep it up a little bit and not be so monotone or whatever, then I can see him just playing the middle and sliding right onto the end and potentially winning.
Right, so we tried our best to split up any and all previous relationships with these tribes, but one that I actually completely forgot about is that I hosted Logan and Timmy together on one of my more recent seasons. They made Final Four together, and at the Final Four, Logan stabbed Timmy in the back after lying to him during the entire finale.
Oh
Timmy
no.
Timmy holds grudges for years. He comes off as like the goofball type, the kind of aloof type. Doesn't like he acts like he doesn't know what's going on, but he's very analytical, and he will mess you up if you don't do something about him fairly quickly. He doesn't have like the strongest presence, but he knows what he's doing. And I do think that he might actually put Logan in a bit of trouble if he wasn't in it already due to his various situations and the fact that he just comes off as kind of creepy. Yeah. All right, Nick, take us home.
Okay, so my pick, Timmy, is that I feel like his biggest obstacle, like a lot of the people in this tribe, is this tribe. Because I feel like Timmy's the kind of person who is like a good cop or second in command kind of person, and he doesn't. There really isn't a person in this tribe that he is like a big, huge ringleader that actually has enough presence that they need the second person to run their ideas by. So I feel like he wants someone who's like knows what they're already doing. He needs someone who needs a little bit of guidance. That's a strong person to help him, and he doesn't have that here. But I think he's a threat to anyone. Like they're not gonna target him unless something crazy happens. So I think he's fine. I don't think he'll win, but I could see him going pretty far and maybe he'll pull it out. I don't know. I do want to see how him and Jay react though, because I feel like that will be like a fun. If they teamed up, that'd be like the funniest shit ever.
All right, so before we wrap this up, I just want to go down the line once and give your final three predictions and your winner prediction out of that three.
And first boot.
Yeah, first boot, winner prediction, final three. Jabbar? You're muted, Jabbar.
Okay, for final three, I'm just gonna pick the person I think can do the best on each tribe. But first boot. Oh, yeah, I think that middle tribe is gonna lose. I think they have the best chance of losing. So I can see. Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna say. I really don't know. Pietro as first boot if the middle tribe loses. Um, Final three, I can see. I'm gonna say Brian, Jay, and on this last try, if I had to pick someone, I would say Connor because I feel like if the three of them get together, they're just gonna pre-made it to the end, honestly. And I do think that the three of them are best in position. Well, Brian's a rat. I don't think that he's necessarily in the best position on his tribe, but I can see him ratting his way to the end. And out of the three of them, I see Connor beating both of them hands down.
Okay, so I am going to say Ben, Jay, and one of Maynard, Danny. One of them is going to get voted out, and the other is going to make it to the end. I think whichever one of those two makes it to the end is actually going to be the one that wins the season.
Mm.
Although, if I had to choose, my money would be on Maynard.
Yeah, I almost picked him.
Nick.
I agree. Pedro is probably going to be the first boot. I think the final three is going to be Maynard, Connor, and then one of Jay and Brian. And I think Connor is going to just edge out Maynard by 1 or 2 votes.
Oh fuck! I completely forgot. First boot prediction is Loki.
Yeah.
Zach.
My first boot my first boot prediction is Pietro. I agree with Jabbar.
I'm the only
I
one
said
that
it
has
too,
any
Vic.
faith. I'm the only one that has any faith in. You got this, picture.
I do think that the final three would be Maynard, Glow, and I can see. I actually can see Danny and Maynard making it far together. If they do get together, I can see them going the distance. So I
I could
feel
actually
like,
see that if Danny can pull in Glow at the start, the two of them
yep,
have Glow.
yep. So I do see Maynard, Danny, and Glow making it to the final three, and I see Maynard win.
It's a very realistic final three as well. I honestly want to say it's either going to be Maynard or Connor's game to lose. As it sounds already. I think they're the front runners.
I'd have to agree. All right, so thank you everyone for your time. This has been the cast assessment for Trinity
It is
Survivor New
long as
Beginnings.
fuck.
I am looking forward to a great season.
It's going to be a hot mess express.
Yeah.